and jump into the first story. The Lake Michigan incident, ladies and gentlemen. What do we know? What is it? And what could Donald Trump have seen happen to a newborn? If you don't know what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, the so-called Lake Michigan incident, I mean, a lot of people, they're talking about it. It's in the conversation. If you're not online or anything like that, you may not have heard of it. It's optional at that point as to whether or not you've heard about it. But it is something that has been meriting serious conversation, given the fact that it appeared in the files that made everybody, I'm going to be honest with you, made everybody very, very, very nervous. It refers to a serious but unsubstantiated allegation contained in the 2020 FBI tip from released from an FBI tip form released by the U.S. Department of Justice in December of 2025. It's a part of a larger batch of Jeffrey Epstein-related files. The document, file EFTA 000250110, records a complaint from an unnamed woman who claimed that she was sex trafficked in 1984 at the age of 13 by her uncle and Epstein, primarily on yachts in Lake Michigan, in the area near Mona Lake, Michigan. I mean, good area, not gonna lie. She alleged that during this period she gave birth to a newborn daughter, whom her uncle then murdered and disposed of by dumping the body into Lake Michigan. I mean, if you haven't heard of this, ladies and gentlemen, according to the tip, Donald Trump, then he was a private citizen, just sort of a fella that was making his name in the real estate market, was present during the alleged murder and the disposal of said newborn. The complaint described Trump as someone who, quote, participated regularly in paying money to force me to redacted with him, and explicitly stated that he was, quote, was present when my uncle murdered my newborn child and disposed of the body in Lake Michigan. The incidents were said to have occurred between May and September of 1984. No physical evidence, corroborating witnesses, or follow-up investigation details are mentioned in the released file, and it remains unclear if the FBI ever pursued the tips substantively. I found this lady who's going to read bits and pieces of it. It's very fascinating. Listen. There's a lot of things that are coming out in these files. There's some incidents where the FBI, literally, they will come out a couple days later with the Larry Nassar letter where they're saying from Jeffrey Epstein to him, the LN, it's fake. They're saying that already. And, I'm just going to say, it's not making your journalistic integrity look any better when you continuously, you release your own things, you've apparently been poring over the details for months, but yet you can't get those small details correct to where it's like, oh, that whole file that we released, that one's not correct, that one is unsubstantiated, that one shouldn't even be out there. I mean, if these claims are out there, I want to know who this woman is. I want her pulled into court. I want her you know what I mean? There needs to be some level of deep investigation here. You know what I mean? Reliable fact-checking sources. Snopes, they emphasize that these are unverified claims from a single anonymous complaint submitted shortly before the 2020 election. The DOJ itself noted in its release that some documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims against Trump, describing them as unfounded. Additionally, the timeline raises questions. Public records indicate Trump did not meet Epstein until the late 1980s, years after the alleged 1984 events, and neither had documented ties to the specific Michigan location at the time. No credible evidence has emerged to support the allegations yet, and have not resulted in any charges or confirmed findings. Interesting, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not trying to say that Trump watched a newborn baby be murdered and then dumped into Lake Michigan. I have no evidence for it. I have no whatever. We're going to just go ahead and we're going to review bits and pieces of the document, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to just sit with the fact that this claim was made out there. It was submitted shortly before the 2020 election, which is interesting. You know what I mean? Read this.
He was orchestrating a deal along with my uncle where different men and a few women and girls would come to a variety of boats and yachts and pay money to force me to do blank with them while I was 13 and pregnant. Witness information, Donald Trump. Additional information, again, just trying to find out the NYPD detective on the FBI sex trafficking task force that called me a couple of weeks ago and spoke to me about some of these issues. How is contact known? He participated regularly. This is Trump now. Trump. He participated regularly in paying money to force me to blank with him, and he was present when my uncle murdered my newborn child and disposed of the body in Lake Michigan. What's his address? Washington, D.C. Does that sound untrue to you? A person calling 3 or 4 weeks after they made their original complaint, after they spoke with an FBI investigator, wanting to now, after they've slept on it for 3 to 4 weeks, now they're ready to give their real name. There's no histrionics in there. There's no dramatizing in there. It's very straightforward. In 1984, when I was 13 years old, I was trafficked. My uncle, several other people, men, some women, some other girls, mostly on a yacht. There's no elaborate story, and this is actually very consistent with the way victim revelation works. She's been sitting on this forever. It was a terrible memory. Imagine giving birth at 13 years old, your uncle murdering that child in front of Donald Trump on a yacht, and then throwing the corpse into the lake. Traumatizing. Not to mention all of the other things that she had to endure. And then finally, she has the guts to say something, but she doesn't want it to come back to her. She's just giving a tip, and maybe they can investigate. And then, after having sat on it for 3 to 4 weeks, and having felt a little bit lighter for having revealed the information, is now ready to give her real name. And maybe she thought it wasn't going to go anywhere if she didn't give her real name.
I hope she does give her real name. I hope that people look into this. I hope that it's, turn over every rock, look into it, investigate it. I'm just curious about this. And I know that people will go like, why are you even asking it? And I'm going, because it's kind of important to it's important to the situation. What area of Lake Michigan? You know what I mean? I'm trying to think like what region. You have the Wisconsin coast, you have both of the peninsulas of Michigan, but then you also have you have a little bit of Indiana and Illinois, you know what I mean? Was it like a north suburb of Chicago or something where this happened? I'm just curious. And also I would like to ask, what is the purpose of killing the kid and then dumping it in the lake? Is this is it ritualized? Is it some sort of I don't understand the gain. And I listen, if she's able to bring up a list of people who can maybe corroborate her statements, if she's able to get together a list of witnesses, if she's able to put something together, absolutely look into it. Why not? I don't care. That sounds fine. If a baby was thrown into the lake, I want to be the first person to know. I'm going to be honest with you. Listen. I would love to bring this point up, and it's just kind of it's a secondary point, but it's also one that's really important. Are any of us any better? In actuality, look deep in your hearts, and you're like, man, I ate McDonald's the other day. You're like, I have a diamond ring for my engagement ring. That was probably mined by some African child, you know what I mean? In some Libyan diamond mine. You know what I mean? I'm just going to ask the important human question. Are any of us any better? If Donald Trump really did do this, if he really did watch a newborn baby, given birth to by a 13-year-old surrogate, this is just nuts. This is eyes wide shut. If this is true, I don't even know what to say. I think the only thing I can say is, are any of us any better? Because just like Donald Trump, it's he's just turning a blind eye to this. Who knows? Maybe he went to this camp thing to get hey, we have Trump Tower Chicago planned, and we just need some of the financing thrown together. And then he goes to this place in, I don't know, northern Michigan or something, and then suddenly people have daggers and they're putting them in newborns, and he's just going, whoa, I just came here to get financed. And maybe that's the situation. And then at that point, be honest with me. Be really honest with me, ladies and gentlemen. Wouldn't you also just crack a Diet Coke? Like, if that, by the way, you're too deep. You're already too deep, because at that point you look just as guilty as the rest of them, and you go, well, fuck it, actually. And you go, well, fuck it, actually. It's just like, okay, well, I guess I'm already in. Like, I already watched the crazy shit. And if I go to the cops, they're going to be like, well, you have a history of photos of this guy with you and them together, and they'll say that you were at the parties and whatnot. There's, like, why not just... Listen, I know that a lot of people are going to have something to say about this, and I would too. I would too if I was unenlightened, but I just want to put it this way. Are any of us any truly better? Would you really walk away from the ritualistic sacrifice if they said, "Hey, you get a yacht in a couple months if you keep working with us"? Like, it's the human nature. I think that's what Trump will be remembered for, is his exposure of the human nature, of the nastier parts of human nature. But that's the beautiful and sad parts of his presidency, is that it's a deep reflection on the human nature that we all have inside of us. It's interesting. It's fascinating, isn't it? I actually, it's awkward. It's really awkward to read the sponsorship right now, because this sponsorship had nothing to do with today's first story. It's just that I have these guys on a schedule, and if I don't read theirs by, like, whatever, they're threatening to pull the money. And, like, I bought a new mic with the sponsorship money they gave, so it's already, like, I can't give it back, so it's too late. So, ladies and gentlemen, just bear with me real quick. Are you tired of the hassle of surrogacy contracts, 9-month waits, and all those pesky emotional attachments? Introducing Buy a Baby, the revolutionary new service that delivers fresh, ethically sourced infants straight to your ceremonial altar. No questions asked. No strings attached, except the ceremonial ones, of course. Why bother with prenatal classes and baby showers when you can just skip right to the good part? The dramatic midnight offering under the blood moon. Our premium selection includes a variety of ages, blood types, and astrological signs to perfectly match your coven's exact standards. Ladies and gentlemen, free express shipping in unmarked black vans ensures total discretion, because nothing ruins a ritual like nosy neighbors spotting a stroller. At Buy a Baby, we pride ourselves on sustainably sourced and convenient babies. Every purchase supports our innovative one-and-done program, eliminating the costly long-term commitments of traditional child rearing. No more college funds, no more awkward parent-teacher conferences, just pure, unadulterated, sacrificial bliss. Choose from our deluxe packages: the Screaming Lamb for classic volume, or the Silent Offering for stealth ceremonies, or the exclusive twin set for those ambitious double invocations. Satisfaction is guaranteed with the next soul binding, and it's on us, ladies and gentlemen. Order today and receive a complimentary obsidian dagger used by Donald Trump allegedly himself, and an incense starter kit provided by Ghislaine Maxwell. Buy a Baby, because some rituals shouldn't require a waiting list. Void where prohibited by daylight, morality, or the law enforcement.